The message appeared on Zariah Cole's screen at 3 in the morning. Not a threat, not a warning, just an address in Gangnam and 5 words that made her blood run cold. I have what you need. She'd been hunting this ghost for 6 months, tearing through firewalls and encrypted servers, and now he was inviting her to walk through his front door. Either he had information about her sister, or this was the most elaborate trap she'd ever seen. If you love stories where enemies become something they can't define, and danger feels like a drug, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button because this story gets darker before it gets better. And you won't want to miss what happens when 2 people who trust no one are forced to trust each other. Zariah stood across the street from the building, rain turning Seoul's neon signs into blurred streaks of color. She'd memorized every exit, every camera angle, every possible way this could go wrong. The building looked ordinary enough. A commercial complex nestled between a 24-hour cafe and a skincare shop. Nothing about it screamed danger. That's exactly why she didn't trust it. Her phone buzzed. Same number. You've been standing there for 11 minutes. Either come up or go home. She typed back quickly. How do I know you're not going to put a bullet in my head the second I walk in? The response came faster than she expected. If I wanted you dead, you'd already be dead. Apartment 1204, the door's open. Zariah shoved her phone into her jacket pocket and crossed the street. She'd loaded 3 different tracking apps that would alert her contact if she didn't check in within the hour. Not that it would help if things went bad, but at least someone would know where to find her body. The lobby was empty, clean in that sterile way that suggested money, but not warmth. She took the elevator, watching the numbers climb. 8, 9, 10. Her hand moved to the knife strapped to her thigh. Guns were nearly impossible to get in Seoul, but she'd learned other ways to protect herself. The elevator doors opened on the 12th floor. Only 4 apartments. She found 1204 at the end of the hall. The door was indeed unlocked. She stepped inside and stopped. The man sitting in the chair by the window didn't look like a monster. That was the first problem. He looked like he'd just finished a business meeting, dress shirt rolled to his elbows, dark hair pushed back like he'd been running his hands through it. Korean features, sharp enough to cut. But it was his eyes that got her. Dark, steady, the kind of eyes that saw everything and revealed nothing. Zariah Cole, he said, not a question. You know my name? I don't know yours. She stayed by the door, exit strategy mapped in her head. Kang Seung-Ho. He gestured to the chair across from him. Sit. I'm good here. You came all this way to stand by the door? You sent a creepy message in the middle of the night. Forgive me for not getting comfortable. Something that might have been amusement flickered across his face. Fair enough. You hacked into my system 4 days ago. You were looking for financial records tied to Taehua recruitment services. Zariah's pulse kicked up, but she kept her face blank. I have no idea what you're talking about. You used a proxy server in Bangkok, routed through 2 VPNs, and you were good enough to get past the first 3 security layers before you triggered my alert system. He tilted his head slightly. Most people don't make it past the first. Sounds like you need better security. I have excellent security. You're just better than most. He stood slowly, and Zariah's hand moved toward her weapon. He noticed and stopped. I'm not going to hurt you. I brought you here because we have a common problem. I don't have any problems. Your sister, Maya Cole, age 19, disappeared 7 weeks ago after accepting an internship with a tech company that doesn't exist anymore. His voice was matter-of-fact, delivering information like a news report. You've been searching for her. So have I. The sound of her sister's name in his mouth made her want to break something. You don't know anything about my sister. I know she's alive. I know she's in Korea. And I know the people who took her are the same people who killed my father and brother 3 years ago. Zariah studied him, looking for the lie. Why should I believe you? Seung-Ho moved to the table, picked up a tablet, and held it out. She approached cautiously and took it. The screen showed surveillance footage, grainy but clear enough. A group of young people is being led into a building. She recognized her sister's purple braids immediately, the way she walked with her shoulders slightly hunched. The timestamp was from 5 days ago. Where is this? Zariah's voice came out rougher than she intended. A holding facility about 2 hours outside Seoul. They move people every week, sometimes twice a week. By the time you found this footage, she'd already be gone. She looked up at him. What do you want? You're a hacker, one of the best I've seen. I need someone who can move through digital spaces without leaving traces. He crossed his arms. I can provide resources, protection, and access to places you can't reach alone. Together, we find the people running this operation. You get your sister back. I get justice for my family. And if I say no, then you keep searching alone, staying 3 steps behind while they move her further out of reach. His expression didn't change, but something in his voice hardened. Or you work with me, and we actually have a chance. Zariah wanted to throw the tablet at his face. She hated that he was right. She'd been chasing shadows for weeks, getting close enough to smell blood, but never close enough to draw it. I don't work with criminals. I'm a businessman. Right. And I'm sure all your business is legal. Legality is a matter of perspective. That's exactly what a criminal would say. Seung-Ho moved closer, close enough that she could see the faint scar along his jawline. You hacked into private servers, bypassed international security protocols, and you're currently carrying an illegal blade. Don't lecture me about legality when your hands aren't clean either. She should have stepped back. She didn't. There's a difference between breaking rules to find my sister and whatever it is you do. You're right. There is. His voice dropped lower. I break rules and actually get results. The tension in the room could have shattered glass. Do you feel it? That moment when 2 people realize they're either going to destroy each other or become something dangerous together. Stay with me. Zariah broke eye contact first, hating herself for it. If I agree to this, I need ground rules. Name them. 1, you don't lie to me. I don't care how ugly the truth is. Want it straight. She held up a second finger. 2, my sister is the priority. I don't care about your revenge quest if it puts her at risk. 3, you try anything. And I mean anything. That makes me think I can't trust you. I'm gone. And I'll burn your entire operation on my way out. Seung-Ho was quiet for a moment, then extended his hand. Deal. She looked at his hand like it might bite her. Making deals with men like him was how people ended up disappearing. But Maya's face on that footage, the way she'd looked so small and scared, that image was burned into Zariah's brain. She shook his hand. His grip was firm and warm, and he held on a second longer than necessary. We start tomorrow, he said. I'll send a car for you. I can get myself places. Not where we're going. She pulled her hand back. Where exactly are we going? To talk to someone who used to work for the recruitment company. He's been hiding for 2 months. Took me 3 weeks to find him. Seung-Ho's smile was the kind that didn't reach his eyes. He's not expecting visitors. Zariah should have asked more questions, should have demanded details, addresses, and plans. Instead, she found herself asking, "Why are you really doing this?" The truth. He looked at her for a long moment, something unreadable crossing his features. "Because some debts can only be paid in blood, and I always pay my debts." The way he said it made her skin prickle. Not with fear exactly. Something else. Something that felt like standing too close to a fire. She left his apartment with more questions than answers, and a meeting time that came too early. 6 in the morning. He'd said to dress for a hike. That night, Zariah sat in her cramped rental room in Itaewon and did what she did best. She dug into Kang Seung-Ho's life, peeling back layers of information like skinning an onion. On the surface, he was clean. CEO of a mid-size import-export company, several tech investments, a few properties scattered across Seoul. But surfaces lied. She went deeper, following money trails that looped through shell companies and offshore accounts. She found gaps, spaces where large sums moved in and out with no clear origin. She found business partners who disappeared from public record. She found a pattern of acquisitions that didn't make sense unless you understood what he was really building. Control. He was building control over supply chains, information networks, and digital infrastructure. The kind of empire that looked legitimate in daylight and showed its teeth after dark. Her phone buzzed at midnight. "Stop digging into my finances and get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a long day." She typed back, "How did you know?" "You're good, but I'm better. And you triggered an alert 10 minutes ago." "You're tracking me?" "We're partners now. Partners keep tabs on each other. Sleep well, Zariah." She stared at her phone, anger and something uncomfortably close, to respect twisting in her gut. She'd underestimated him. That wouldn't happen again. The car that picked her up at 6 was black, expensive, and driven by a woman who didn't say a word. Zariah climbed into the back and found Seung-Ho already there, looking like he'd had 8 hours of sleep and a good breakfast. "Morning," he said. "You're enjoying this too much." "Enjoying what?" "Being mysterious and controlling." "I thought you appreciated control." He glanced at her hiking boots and practical jacket. "Good. Where we're going doesn't have roads." They drove for an hour and a half, leaving Seoul's sprawl behind for mountains and forests that looked like something from a postcard. The woman parked at a trailhead, and Seung-Ho got out, grabbing a backpack from the trunk. "Stay here," he told the driver. Then to Zariah, "We walk from here." The trail was steep, winding through pine trees and over rocks still wet from last night's rain. Seung-Ho moved like he'd done this before, confident steps, no wasted energy. Zariah kept pace, refusing to show strain even when her lungs started burning. "The man we're meeting," she said between breaths, "does he know we're coming?" "No. So we're ambushing him. We're having an unscheduled conversation." That's literally what an ambush is. Seung-Ho glanced back at her, and she caught the edge of a real smile this time. "You're very literal. You're very evasive. Evasion has kept me alive this long." They walked in silence for another 20 minutes before Seung-Ho slowed, held up a hand. Through the trees ahead, Zariah could make out a small cabin, smoke rising from a metal chimney. "He lives out here alone," Seung-Ho said quietly. "Former HR manager for Taihua Recruitment. When the company dissolved overnight, most employees scattered. He ran further than most. Because he knew something. Because he did something. Seung-Ho's expression went cold. He processed the paperwork, verified the fake documents, made sure no one asked questions when young people showed up and then disappeared into the system. Zariah's hands curled into fists. And you're just now finding him? He was careful. Changed his name, paid cash for everything, stayed offline. Seung-Ho started moving toward the cabin. But everyone makes mistakes eventually. They approached from the side, staying low. Zariah's heart hammered against her ribs. This was different from hacking, where she was safe behind a screen. This was physical, immediate, the kind of danger that left marks. Seung-Ho reached the door first and tested the handle. Locked. He pulled something from his pocket and worked the lock with practiced ease. The door swung open silently. The man inside was at the stove, cooking something that smelled like instant ramyeon. He turned at the sound of footsteps and went pale. "No," he said in Korean, backing up. "No, I didn't tell anyone. I swear I didn't." Seung-Ho answered in Korean, voice calm. Zariah's Korean was decent, but he spoke too fast for her to catch everything. Something about talking, about making this easy. The man kept shaking his head, eyes darting toward a window. "Don't," Seung-Ho said, this time in English, probably for Zariah's benefit. "You run, this gets worse." "Who are you?" The man's English was accented but clear. "Someone with questions. Answer them, and you walk away from this." Seung-Ho pulled out his phone and showed him something. "Lie to me, and you don't." What did he just show him? And why does this feel like we're about to cross a line there's no coming back from? Keep watching. Zariah moved closer and saw the photo on Seung-Ho's phone. It was the man's daughter, playing in a park somewhere, a threat without words. "That's low," she said. Seung-Ho didn't look at her. "That's effective." The man crumpled into a chair, head in his hands. "What do you want to know?" "Taehua recruitment. Who ran it? Who gave the orders?" "I don't know names, I swear. We got instructions through encrypted messages, never met anyone face to face." "Where did the recruits go after processing?" The man's hands shook. "Different places. Sometimes factories down south, sometimes entertainment companies, sometimes I don't know. We just processed papers and sent them to the next location." Zariah stepped forward. There was a girl, 19, American, purple braids. Came through about 7 weeks ago. Where did she go? The man looked up at her, seemed to really see her for the first time. Recognition flickered in his eyes. "You're her sister." Her blood went ice cold. "How do you know that?" "She talked about you. When she came in for the interview, she was so excited. Kept saying how proud her sister would be." His voice cracked. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Sorry doesn't help me. Where is she?" "There's a facility, outside Daegu. They take the ones with specific skills, tech skills. Your sister, she was a coder, right? They wanted her specifically." Seung-Ho and Zariah exchanged a look. "Why?" Seung-Ho asked. "What do they need coders for?" "I don't know. I just processed the paperwork. But I heard things, rumors." The man wiped his face. "They're building something, some kind of network, digital infrastructure. They need people who can code but won't ask questions." "And if they do ask questions?" Zariah's voice was deadly quiet. The man didn't answer. He didn't have to. Seung-Ho pulled out a small notepad and slid it across the table with a pen. "Write down the address, every detail you remember about the facility, security, schedules, anything. If they find out I told you, they won't." You're going to pack a bag and disappear? Take your daughter somewhere far away and don't come back. Seung-Ho's tone left no room for argument. This is the only chance you get to do the right thing. The man wrote for 5 minutes, hands trembling but thorough. When he finished, Seung-Ho took the notepad, read it over, and nodded. They left him there, staring at the walls of his cabin like they were closing in. Outside, Zariah grabbed Seung-Ho's arm. You threatened his kid. I showed him a photo. You know what you implied. I implied consequences. That's how this works. He pulled his arm free but didn't move away. You want to find your sister, or you want to feel morally superior? Because you can't have both. There's a difference between getting results and becoming the monster. His laugh was bitter. You think I'm not already the monster? Zariah, I've done things that would make you run screaming. Threatening someone with a photo is mild. She wanted to argue, but the look in his eyes stopped her. There was truth there, dark and deep. The kind of truth that had weight. The facility in Daegu, she said instead. When do we move on it? We don't, not yet. He started walking back down the trail. We need more information. Going in blind is how we both end up dead and your sister stays lost. She followed, frustrated but knowing he was right. So what's next? Next, I introduce you to someone who can get us building layouts and security details. He glanced back at her. But you're not going to like it. Why? Because he's going to ask you to do something illegal. More illegal than you're used to. I've broken plenty of laws. Not like this. Seung-Ho stopped walking and turned to face her fully. What I'm about to bring you into, it's not just hacking from your apartment. It's walking into rooms where people get hurt, making choices that have blood on them. You sure you're ready for that? Zariah thought of Maya, scared and alone, being forced to code for people who treated her like property. I'll do whatever it takes. That's what I'm afraid of. But he said it quietly, almost to himself. The someone turned out to be a woman named Jin-ae, who ran a luxury bar in Gangnam, the kind of place where politicians and businessmen went to make deals they couldn't make in daylight. Zariah followed Seung-Ho through a private entrance that led to a back room where the real business happened. Jin-ae was older, maybe 50s, with sharp eyes and silver hair cut in a severe bob. She looked at Zariah the way someone might examine a new piece of furniture, deciding if it was worth the investment. This is the hacker? Jin-ae asked in English, accent thick but words clear. This is my partner, Seung-Ho corrected, and Zariah hated how the word made something flutter in her chest. Partner. Jin-ae smiled like she didn't believe it. Seung-Ho doesn't have partners. He has assets. People can change, he said. No, they can't. They just pretend better. Jin-ae poured 3 glasses of something amber and expensive looking. But I don't care about your arrangement. You want information on the Daegu facility? I can get it, but it's going to cost you. Name your price, Seung-Ho said. Not money. Jin-ae slid 1 glass towards Zariah. I need someone to access the police database. There's a file I need erased. Every copy, every backup, make it like it never existed. Zariah picked up the glass but didn't drink. What kind of file? The kind that puts people in prison for a very long time. Jin-ae's smile was all teeth. Do we have a deal? What's in the file? Zariah pressed. Does it matter? Yeah, it does. Jin-ae studied her for a moment, then shrugged. Security footage from 3 months ago. A man who forgot to respect boundaries and found out what happens when you touch things that don't belong to you. The footage shows how he learned that lesson. Zariah's stomach turned. You killed someone. I defended what was mine. The law sees it differently. Janae drank her whiskey in one smooth motion. So here's your choice. You can keep your moral high ground, and I keep my information. Or you can erase the file, save whoever you're trying to save, and learn to live with the gray areas. Seung-Ho was watching Zariah, expression unreadable. This was a test, she realized. Not from Jin-A, but from him. He wanted to see if she'd back out, if she'd choose clean hands over results. How do I know you're not lying about what's in the file? Zariah asked. Jin-A pulled out a tablet and pulled up a video. The footage was grainy, black and white, time-stamped from 3 months ago. It showed a man forcing himself into a back room where a young woman was working. What happened next was brutal and quick. Jin-A coming in, the confrontation, the man pulling a knife, Jin-A taking it from him and using it. Self-defense, technically. But the man had connections, and the law didn't always care about technicalities when money was involved. Satisfied? Jin-A asked. Zariah set down her glass. I'll need 3 days. Police databases have layered security, and I need to make sure there's no trail leading back. You have 2 days. 3, or you can find another hacker. Jin-A laughed, surprised and genuine. I like her. She's got spine. She looked at Seung-Ho. Don't break this one. The last girl you brought around ended up worse for knowing you. Something dangerous flashed across Seung-Ho's face. Careful. Or what? You'll stop drinking my expensive liquor? But Jin-A's tone shifted, less sharp. 2.5 days. Final offer. Zariah nodded. Deal. They left the bar with a USB drive containing partial blueprints of the Daegu facility and a deadline hanging over Zariah's head like a blade. The car ride back was quiet, tension thick enough to choke on. Who was she? Zariah finally asked. The last girl. Someone who didn't make it out. Seung-Ho stared out the window at Seoul's endless lights. Someone I should have protected better. What happened to her? The same thing that happens to everyone who gets too close to this life. She became a target. His jaw tightened. They killed her to get to me, made me watch. The words landed heavily. Zariah wanted to ask more, but something in his expression warned her off. Some wounds were too raw to touch. I'm not her, Zariah said quietly. I know. You're harder to kill. He looked at her then, really looked at her. But that doesn't mean you're safe. I stopped being safe the moment Maya disappeared. No, you stopped being safe the moment you walked into my apartment. His voice dropped lower. Because now they know you exist. And if they know about you, they'll use you to get to me the same way they'll use your sister to get to you. We're both liabilities now. The car pulled up to Zariah's building in Itaewon. She should have gotten out, should have put distance between herself and whatever this was becoming. Instead, she heard herself say, Come up. Seung-Ho raised an eyebrow. Why? Because I need to access my setup to start working on Jin-A's job, and you need to see how I work if we're going to be partners. She opened the door. Unless you're scared to be alone with me. His smile was slow, dangerous. I'm not the one who should be scared. And here we are, 2 people playing with fire and pretending they don't feel the heat. Don't look away now. Her apartment was small, 1 room with a bathroom barely big enough to turn around in, but it was hers. 3 monitors set up on a makeshift desk, equipment she'd collected over years of jobs, both legal and not. The walls were covered with notes, maps, and photographs of Maya from before everything went wrong. Seung-Ho walked in, took it all in silently. He stopped at the wall of Maya's photos. She looks like you. Everyone says we look nothing alike. Not your faces, your eyes. Same determination, same fire. He touched one photo lightly, Maya laughing at something off camera. She's lucky to have you. She's lucky I'm going to find her, you mean? That too. Zariah booted up her system, fingers flying across the keyboard. The Haas police database is going to take time. I need to map their security protocols, find the weak points, create a ghost access that won't trigger alerts. How long have you been doing this? Seung-Ho asked, watching her work. Hacking? Since I was 12. Started because I wanted to change my grades. Realized I was good at it. Started taking jobs at 15. Nothing major, just small stuff for people who needed information or wanted to disappear from certain records. And your parents? Her hand stilled on the keyboard. Gone. Mom died when I was 16, and Dad was never in the picture. It was just Maya and me after that. I raised her, kept us fed, kept us moving when things got tight. She resumed typing, faster. She was supposed to have a better life than this. College, career, and normal problems like boyfriends and student loans. Not this. Seung-Ho moved closer, close enough that she could feel his presence behind her chair. You blame yourself? Of course, I blame myself. I'm the one who told her to take opportunities when they came. I'm the one who said the internship sounded legitimate. Her voice cracked. I practically gift-wrapped her and handed her to them. You couldn't have known. I should have. I'm supposed to be smart, supposed to see through lies. That's literally what I do for a living. She turned in her chair, found him closer than she expected. I failed her. Then we fix it. Seung-Ho's hand came up like he might touch her face, then stopped, curled into a fist, dropped. You don't get to carry this alone anymore. That's what partners do. Share the weight. The air between them felt electric, charged with something neither of them knew how to name. Zariah should have moved back, created space, but her body wasn't listening to her brain. Why do you care so much? She asked. Really? It can't just be about revenge for your family. His expression shifted, something raw breaking through the careful control. Because I know what it's like to lose people and spend every day after wondering if you could have saved them. Because I've been alone in this fight for 3 years, and I'm tired of only trusting ghosts. He leaned down, hands on the arms of her chair, caging her in. And because when you look at me, you don't see a monster or a king or whatever else people call me. You just see someone who might be useful. I forgot what that felt like. Her breath caught. Seung-Ho. Don't. His voice was rough. Don't say my name like that unless you mean it. Like what? Like you're not afraid of me. Like you might actually trust me. He was close enough now that she could see the darker flecks in his eyes, could smell cedar and something sharper. Because if you trust me, I'll do everything in my power not to break that. And that terrifies me more than any enemy I've ever faced. Zariah's hand came up, fingers brushing his jaw before she could stop herself. Good. You should be terrified, because I don't give trust easily, and if you break it, I'll make sure you regret ever sending me that message. His hand covered hers, held it against his face. Is that a promise or a threat? Both. The moment stretched, pulled tight as a wire. Then Seung-Ho's phone buzzed, shattering whatever was building between them. He pulled back, checked the message, and his expression went cold. What is it? Zariah asked. Jin-A. Someone just tried to access her bar's security system. Professional job, almost got through. He was already moving toward the door. She thinks someone knows we were there. Zariah grabbed her jacket. I'm coming with you. No. Stay here. Work on the police file. I'll handle this. We're partners, remember? That means I don't sit on the sidelines while you walk into danger. He turned, frustration clear on his face. This isn't a debate. You're right, it's not. She pushed past him to the door. Because I'm coming, whether you like it or not. For a second, she thought he might actually try to stop her. Then something shifted in his expression. Acceptance mixed with what might have been respect. You're going to be a problem. I'm going to be your problem. She smiled, sharp and bright. Better get used to it. The bar was chaos when they arrived. Jin-A had shut down the main floor and sent everyone home. Only her core people remained, faces tense and ready for violence. Show me, Seung-Ho said. Jin-A led them to her office, where security feeds played across multiple screens. Here, 2:47 a.m. Someone tried to access my cloud backup, where the original footage is stored. They got through the first firewall before my system kicked them out. Zariah studied the logs, following the digital trail. This was good, really good. Military-grade encryption on their access point, bounced through 6 proxies. She pulled out her laptop and started running traces. But nobody's perfect. They left a signature, tiny, but it's there. Can you find them? Jin-A asked. I can find where they accessed from. Give me 20 minutes. She worked in silence, aware of Seung-Ho watching over her shoulder, Jin-A pacing like a caged animal. The signature led her through layers of code, false trails meant to discourage pursuit. But whoever this was had made one mistake. A single line of code that didn't match the others. A tell. Got it, Zariah said. The access point originated from an office building in Junggu. High-rise, mixed commercial, and residential. I can narrow it to a floor, but not a specific unit without more time. Seung-Ho was already on his phone. Send me the address. I'll have people there in 10 minutes. Wait. Zariah closed her laptop. This feels wrong. What do you mean? I mean, this was too easy. Whoever tried to hack Jin-A is good enough to know they'd leave traces. What if they wanted to be found? Jin-A stopped pacing. A trap. Maybe, or a distraction. Zariah looked at Seung-Ho. What if they weren't after the footage? What if they were after information about who's helping Jin-A? They'd know someone would trace them back. And when we send people to that building, they'll be watching to see who shows up. Seung-Ho's expression shifted, calculating. Then, we give them what they expect. I send my people to the building, make it look like we took the bait. Meanwhile, we figure out what they were really after. Smart girl, Jin-A said, looking at Zariah with new appreciation. I see why you keep her around. I don't keep her anywhere. She makes her own choices. Seung-Ho made the call and gave orders in rapid Korean. Then to Zariah. Can you track any other access attempts? Anything else that might have happened around the same time? Zariah reopened her laptop, dove back into Jin-A's security logs. At first, nothing stood out. Then she saw it, a tiny ping from 30 seconds before the main hack attempt. Someone had accessed the guest network, the one customers used. Basic access wouldn't raise flags. There, she said, highlighting the entry. Someone connected to your public Wi-Fi at 2:46. Stayed connected for exactly 90 seconds. Long enough to plant something. Jin-A breathed. Zariah's fingers flew across keys, searching for malware, trojans, anything that didn't belong. She found it buried in the point-of-sale system, a small program designed to copy transaction data and send it to an external server. They wanted your customer list, Zariah said. Names, credit cards, everything. Probably trying to figure out who you do business with. And just like that, we went from being the hunters to being the hunted. You still with me? Seung-Ho's phone rang. He answered, listened, his expression getting darker. When he hung up, he looked at Jin-ai. My people got to the building. The unit the hack came from is a rental under a fake name. It's empty now. But they left something behind. What? A photo of Zariah and me. From today, at the trailhead where we met your informant. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. They know, Zariah said quietly. They know we're working together. Which means they know you're looking for your sister. Seung-Ho's voice was controlled, but she could hear the fury underneath. And they're going to use that. Jin-ai poured herself another drink. You two need to disappear. Go underground until this cools down. No. Zariah stood. We go to Daegu, now, before they move Maya again. That's exactly what they want, Seung-Ho argued. They're pushing us to move fast, make mistakes. I don't care what they want. My sister is in that facility, and every second we wait is another second she's in danger. And if we rush in and get killed, she stays there forever. He grabbed her arm, not rough, but firm. I know you're scared. I know every instinct is screaming at you to act. But we need to be smart about this. She jerked her arm free. Don't tell me what I'm feeling. You have no idea. I watched my brother die. His voice went quiet, deadly. They made me kneel on concrete for 6 hours while they tortured him for information he didn't have. I listened to him scream until his voice gave out. So don't tell me I have no idea what it's like to feel helpless. The words hit like a physical blow. Zariah had known his family was killed, but hearing the details, seeing the pain crack through his armor, that was different. I'm sorry, she said. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you so you understand why we can't go in angry. Anger makes you sloppy. Sloppy gets you killed. He took a breath, reeled himself back in. We stick to the plan. We get the information we need. We map out every detail, and then we move. Careful. Calculated. No room for error. How long? 2 days. 3 at most. Maya might not have 3 days. Then we make sure we don't need that long. He looked at Jin-ai. I need everything you have on the Daegu facility by tomorrow morning. Building layouts, guard rotations, everything. I'll have it. Jin-ai tilted her head at Zariah. And the police file? I'll have it erased in 2 days like I promised. Make it 1.5. I'm feeling motivated to help you now. They left the bar as dawn started creeping over Seoul's skyline, painting everything in shades of gray and gold. Zariah was exhausted, running on adrenaline and coffee, but her mind wouldn't stop racing. You should sleep, Seung-Ho said as they walked to his car. So should you. I don't sleep much. Nightmares? He didn't answer, which was answer enough. They drove in silence for a while before Zariah asked the question that had been eating at her. When you found the people who killed your brother, what did you do to them? What do you think I did? I think you made them suffer. I made them disappear. Suffering would have been kinder. He kept his eyes on the road. Does that scare you? It should. But does it? Zariah thought about it, really thought about it. A week ago, the answer would have been yes. Now, knowing what these people did, what they were capable of, the idea of Seung-Ho's brutal justice felt less like horror and more like balance. No, she said finally. It doesn't. He glanced at her, something fierce and approving in his expression. You're changing. Or maybe I'm just finally being honest about who I've always been. And who's that? Someone who will burn the whole world down to protect the people I love. She met his eyes. Sound familiar? His smile was sharp enough to draw blood. We're going to be so dangerous together. The way he said it, like a promise and a threat wrapped in dark silk, made her pulse spike. Is that what we are? Together? What do you want us to be? I don't know yet. Honest, raw. But I know I've never worked with anyone who understands this. The anger, the need for control, the way violence sometimes feels like the only language worth speaking. Most people would call that broken. Most people have never had to fight for every single thing they have. She turned in her seat to face him fully. You scare me, Seung-Ho. Not because of what you've done, but because of how much I don't care that you've done it. That should bother me more than it does. He pulled the car over, suddenly, into an empty parking lot overlooking the Han River. Turned off the engine. The silence was deafening. Say that again, he said. Which part? The part about not caring. Zariah's heart hammered. I don't care that you've killed people. I don't care that you run an empire built on fear and blood. I should. I know I should. But when I look at you, all I see is someone who might actually help me save my sister. Someone who understands what it costs to survive. Seung-Ho's hand came up, cupped her face with a gentleness that contradicted everything she knew about him. You're the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to me. Why? Because you make me want to be careful. You make me want to protect something again. And caring about anything in this life is a weakness that gets exploited. She leaned into his touch. Then maybe we're both already doomed. Maybe. His thumb brushed her cheek. Or maybe we're exactly what each other needs to survive this. The space between them evaporated. Zariah didn't know who moved first, didn't care. His lips met hers, and the world narrowed to that single point of contact. The kiss was nothing soft or sweet. It was hungry, demanding. 3 days of tension, finally finding release. His hand slid into her hair, angling her head for better access. She gripped his shirt, pulled him closer, wanting to eliminate every millimeter of distance. He tasted like coffee and danger and decisions she couldn't take back. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Seung-Ho rested his forehead against hers. This complicates things, he said. Everything about this is already complicated. If we do this, I need you to understand something. He pulled back enough to look her in the eyes. I don't do this. I don't let people in. The last person I cared about died because of me. I'm not asking you to care about me. Too late. His voice was rough. I already do. That's the problem. Zariah's chest tightened. So what do? We finish this. We get your sister back. We destroy the people responsible, and then we figure out what this is. His jaw set. But until then, we stay focused. No distractions. You call that kiss focused? I call it a mistake we're not making again until this is over. She wanted to argue, but he was right. Getting tangled up in each other now, when everything was so precarious, that was how people died. Okay. Strictly business until we finish this. Strictly business, he agreed. Neither of them moved. You're still holding my face, Zariah pointed out. You're still holding my shirt. This is harder than it should be. His laugh was quiet, almost surprised. Yeah, it really is. He let go first, started the car, and pulled back onto the road. The rest of the drive was silent. but it was a different kind of silence now. Charged, aware. Like they were both holding their breath and waiting for the moment they could stop pretending this was just business. When he dropped her off, dawn had fully broken, soul wide awake and bustling. "Get some sleep," he said. "I'll send you the files Ginny compiles. We meet tomorrow night to plan the Daegu operation." "Where?" "Somewhere secure. I'll pick you up at 8. Zariah got out, then leaned back into the car. "Seung-Ho?" "Yeah? That thing you said about me being dangerous? It goes both ways." She smiled. "Don't forget that." She left him there and didn't look back, even though she wanted to. Zariah didn't sleep. She worked through the morning, cracking the police database layer by layer until she found Jin's file. Erasing it was delicate work, the kind that required precision and patience. One wrong move and she'd trigger alerts that would bring cops down on all of them. By noon, she'd eliminated every trace. The file never existed. The backup never existed. Even the metadata suggesting something had been deleted was gone. She sent confirmation to Jin-ai and got back a single word. "Impressive." Then she started on the real work. The files Jin-ai sent over were detailed: floor plans of the Daegu facility, guard schedules, and entry points. But something felt off. The security was too light for a place holding prisoners. Too much faith in the remote location and not enough in actual protection. Her phone rang. Seung-Ho. "You see it too?" he said instead of hello. "The security is wrong. Because it's not a prison, it's a workhouse. They're not worried about people escaping because where would they go? Middle of nowhere. No transportation, no money." His voice was tight. "They're relying on hopelessness instead of bars." Zariah's stomach churned. Maya's been there for weeks thinking no one's coming for her. But someone is coming. We are. A pause. "I got something else. One of my contacts in Daegu says there's a transport scheduled for tomorrow night. They're moving a group of workers to a new location. Maya could be in that group. That's what I'm thinking. Which means we have two options. Hit the facility before the transport, or intercept the transport itself." Zariah thought fast. "The facility is a known quantity. We have maps and schedules. The transport is a wild card. But the transport has fewer guards and less infrastructure. Easier to get in and out fast. More risk of losing people in the chaos. Everything about this is risk, Zariah." She heard him moving, the background noise of traffic. "I'm outside your building. Come down. We need to decide this, face to face." She found him leaning against his car, dressed down in jeans and a dark jacket, looking less like a crime lord and more like someone who could disappear in a crowd. He handed her coffee without a word. "When did you sleep?" she asked. "I didn't." "When did you?" "Same." They stood there drinking coffee and watching the street. Two people running on fumes and determination. "I think we hit the facility," Zariah said finally. "The transport is too unpredictable. At least at the facility, we know the layout. We can plan extraction routes." "I was hoping you'd say that." Seung-Ho pulled out his phone and showed her the updated plans. "I've got 4 people I trust. We go in at 0300 when the guard change happens. 12-minute window where coverage is weakest. 6 people to raid a facility. 6 people who know what they're doing beat 20 who don't. Small team, fast execution, in and out before they know what hit them." He zoomed in on the eastern wall. "There's a service entrance here, locked, but nothing you can't handle. Gets us into the basement level where they keep the equipment." "Maya's not in the basement." "No, but the power controls are. We cut electricity, backup generators kick in, but there's a 40-second delay. In those 40 seconds, Magnetic locks on the residential wing release. Zariah saw where he was going. We create chaos, use it as cover. Exactly. My people secure the exits, make sure no one comes in or out except us. You and I go in, find Maya, extract her while everyone's confused. What about the others? The other people trapped there? Seung-Ho was quiet for a moment. We can't save everyone. I'm not leaving people in cages. We don't have the resources to evacuate dozens of people. The best we can do is give them an opportunity. Doors open, they run, or they don't. It wasn't enough, but it was all they had. Okay, when do we leave? Tonight. 6-hour drive to Daegu. We scout the location, wait for the window. He looked at her carefully. Last chance to back out. Once we start this, there's no stopping. People are going to get hurt. Maybe killed. I'm not backing out. I know. I had to say it anyway. He finished his coffee and tossed the cup. Go pack light. Clothes you can move in. Nothing you can't replace. We might not be coming back to Seoul for a while. The weight of that settled over her. They'll be looking for us after this. They're already looking for us. After this, they'll just be looking harder. His expression was grim. The foundation we're hitting, they have reach. Police, politicians, business leaders. We do this. We make enemies that don't forget. Good. Zariah met his eyes. I don't want them to forget. I want them to be afraid. Something blazed in his expression, approval and heat. There she is, the woman who's going to help me burn their world down. They're not just saving one person anymore. They're starting a war. And, honestly, I'm here for it. Zariah packed in 15 minutes. 2 changes of clothes, her laptop, hard drives with encrypted backups of everything she knew. She left a message for her contact in the hacking community, insurance in case things went wrong. If she didn't check in within 72 hours, everything she had on the foundation went public. Seung-Ho picked her up at 4. The car was different this time, a nondescript sedan that could be anyone's. The woman driving was new too, younger, with alert eyes that tracked everything. This is Min-ji, Seung-Ho said. Best driver in Seoul, possibly in Korea. Min-ji glanced in the rearview mirror. He's not wrong. Seatbelts. I don't slow down for anything. She proved it. They made the 6-hour drive in 4.5 hours. Min-ji navigating traffic like it was a video game she'd already beaten. Zariah spent the time memorizing the facility layout, committing every hallway and exit to memory. Seung-Ho spent it on the phone, speaking rapid Korean to his people, coordinating details Zariah couldn't follow. Once, she heard him laugh at something, a real laugh, surprised out of him. When he hung up, he caught her looking. What? I've never heard you laugh before. I don't do it often. Tends to make people nervous. Why? Because usually when I'm laughing, someone else is having a very bad day. But his smile was softer than his words. One of my guys just told me his wife is pregnant. 3rd kid. He's terrified. And that's funny. He once walked into a gunfight with no backup and didn't blink. But the idea of 3 kids has him panicking. Seung-Ho shook his head. Life's weird like that. The things that actually scare us are never the ones we expect. Zariah thought about that. A week ago, she'd been scared of being alone, of failing Maya, of never being enough. Now she was driving toward a fortified facility, planning to commit multiple felonies with a man who killed people for a living, and the scariest part was how right it felt. They reached Daegu as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of blood and fire. Min-ji parked at a motel 2 miles from the facility, the kind of place that didn't ask questions as long as you paid cash. Seung-Ho's team was already there. 4 people, 3 men, and 1 woman, all looking like they could disappear into a crowd or end you in an alley, depending on what the situation required. Zariah, meet your extraction team. Seung-Ho pointed to each in turn. Tae-Wan, explosives and heavy entry. Hyun-Soo, communications and counter-surveillance. Jae-Sun, medical and close quarters. And you met Min-ji. They nodded at her, assessing. She assessed back. She's really going in with you? Tae-Wan asked in English, accent thick. No offense, but she looks like a strong wind would break her. She hacked through military-grade encryption in under 10 minutes, Seung-Ho said flatly. She's got more spine than all of us combined. Anyone have a problem with that? Silence. That was answer enough. They spread the facility plans across 2 beds and went over the operation step by step. Tae-Wan would blow the transformer outside the eastern wall, killing the main power. Hyun-Soo would jam communications so no one could call for backup. Jae-Sun and Min-ji would secure the 2 main exits. Seung-Ho and Zariah would go in through the service entrance, reach the residential wing, and find Maya. What's the exit strategy? Zariah asked. Fast and loud, Seung-Ho said. We get Maya, we run. Anyone who tries to stop us, Tae-Wan makes sure they can't follow. You mean kill them? I mean neutralize the threat. His eyes were hard. These people traffic human beings. I'm not losing sleep over their safety. Jae-Sun spoke up, voice calm. There will be guards who are just doing a job. Not everyone there knows what's really happening. Then they should choose better jobs, Seung-Ho said. But then, quieter, we don't shoot anyone who isn't actively trying to kill us, but we don't hesitate either. Everyone clear? Nods all around. They went over it 3 more times until everyone could recite their role from memory. Then there was nothing to do but wait. The longest 4 hours of Zariah's life. She tried to rest, but her mind wouldn't stop. Kept seeing Maya's face, kept imagining all the ways this could go wrong. Finally, she gave up. Went outside to where Seung-Ho was sitting on the motel stairs, smoking a cigarette. Didn't know you smoked, she said. I don't, except before operations. He offered her one. She shook her head. Smart, terrible habit. Then why do it? Gives my hands something to do besides shake. She sat next to him, close enough that their shoulders touched. You're scared. Terrified. Every single time. He took a drag, exhaled slowly. The day I stop being scared is the day I get sloppy. Fear keeps you sharp. What are you most afraid of? He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was barely above a whisper. That we'll get there, and your sister will already be gone. That will be too late, and I'll have to watch you break. That I'm leading you into something that gets you killed. Zariah took his free hand and laced their fingers together. I'm already broken. I broke the day Maya disappeared. This is me trying to put the pieces back together. And if we can't find her, then at least I tried. At least I fought. She squeezed his hand. At least I'm not alone in it anymore. He turned to look at her, cigarette forgotten. After this is over, after we get Maya back and deal with the Foundation, what do you want? What do you mean? For your life. What does Zariah Cole want when she's not busy saving her sister or running from criminals? No one had asked her that in years. She'd been so focused on survival that she'd forgotten to think about living. I don't know. Safety, maybe. A place where I don't have to look over my shoulder. Where Maya can just be a kid. Go to school, have friends. She paused. What about you? I want to stop owing debts to dead people. I want to build something that isn't soaked in blood. He stubbed out the cigarette. I want to wake up next to someone and not worry they'll be used against me. Sounds lonely. It is. His thumb traced circles on her palm. But maybe it doesn't have to be. Seung-Ho, we barely know each other. I know you broke into my system looking for your sister. I know you held a gun on me and didn't shake. I know you're willing to walk into hell because someone you love is trapped there. His other hand came up, tucked her hair behind her ear. I know when you smile for real, not the fake one you use as armor. Your whole face changes. I know you drink your coffee black because you think sugar is a weakness. I know you're the first person in 3 years who's made me think about a future that isn't just revenge. Her breath caught. We said we'd wait until this was over. I know what we said. He leaned closer, close enough that she could count his eyelashes. But we're about to walk into a situation where we might not make it out. And I need you to know, in case I need you to know that you matter, not as a partner or an asset, as someone I care about, someone I might even love if we both survive long enough for me to figure out what that means. Zariah should have pulled away, should have reminded him about staying focused. Instead, she closed the distance, kissed him softly and slowly, different from the hungry desperation in the car. This was a promise, a hope, a maybe. When they broke apart, Hyun-soo was standing in the doorway. It's time. Here we go. No turning back now. They drove in silence, Minji killing the lights a quarter-mile out. The facility was exactly where the plan said it would be. A low concrete building surrounded by chain-link fence, with a guard tower on the northeast corner. Lights on in some windows. Most dark. They moved like shadows, splitting into positions. Zariah followed Seung-Ho to the eastern wall, watching Tae-won set charges on the transformer. He gave a thumbs up. 30 seconds. Seung-Ho handed Zariah a small earpiece. Stay on comms. Anything feels wrong, you say so immediately. She nodded, adrenaline turning everything sharp and clear. The explosion was smaller than she expected, a controlled pop that killed the lights across the facility. Zariah was already moving, lockpicks in hand. The service entrance lock was industrial, but basic. She had it open in under a minute. They slipped inside, Seung-Ho leading with a small flashlight. The basement was storage, equipment, nothing interesting. They found the stairs and climbed quickly. The first floor was administrative offices, empty at this hour. Second floor, that's where they needed to be. Hyun-soo's voice crackled in the earpiece. Backup generator incoming. 20 seconds. They reached the second floor as lights flickered back on. The residential wing was ahead, a long hallway lined with doors. Not cells exactly, but close enough. Small windows, locks on the outside. Maya Cole? Zariah called out, voice low but carrying. Maya, it's Zariah. I'm here. A door at the end of the hall. Movement behind the window. Zariah? Relief hit so hard that Zariah's knees almost buckled. She ran to the door, saw her sister's face pressed against the glass. Older, somehow thinner, but alive. Alive. Stand back, Seung-Ho said. He shot the lock once, twice. The door swung open. Maya stumbled out, and Zariah caught her, held her tight enough to hurt. I've got you. We're leaving. There are others, Maya said, voice hoarse. 20, maybe 25 people. They're locked in too. Seung-Ho was already moving down the hall, shooting locks. People emerged, confused, scared, hopeful. East stairs, he told them in English, then Korean. Run and don't stop. Alarms started blaring. Hyun-soo's voice cut through. Guards mobilizing. You've got maybe 2 minutes before they swarm that floor. Go, Seung-Ho said to Zariah. Get Maya out. I'll cover the others. I'm not leaving you. You came here for your sister. You have her. Go. He was already pushing them toward the stairs. Maya grabbed Zariah's arm. He's right. Please, I can't stay here. Every instinct screamed at Zariah to stay, to fight alongside Seung-Ho. But Maya's hand in hers, shaking and desperate, that decided it. You better make it out, she told Seung-Ho. Haven't died yet. Don't plan to start now. He smiled, quick and fierce. See you on the other side. Zariah ran, half carrying Maya down the stairs. They hit the basement, found the service entrance. Min-ji was there, gun drawn, covering their exit. More coming, Min-ji said. Move. They burst out into the night. Gunfire behind them now, sharp cracks echoing. Zariah shoved Maya toward the car Tae-won had waiting, looked back at the facility. Seung-Ho emerged with a group of freed prisoners, Jae-sun laying down covering fire. They ran, scattered, some toward the cars, others just into the darkness and freedom. Then Seung-Ho went down. Zariah's heart stopped. She was moving before she thought, running back toward him. Min-ji yelled something, but Zariah didn't hear it, didn't care. Seung-Ho was on the ground, blood spreading across his shoulder. He'd been shot. You're supposed to be in the car, he gritted out. You're supposed to not get shot. She hauled him up, his arm around her shoulders. He was heavier than he looked, all muscle and stubborn refusal to die. Jae-sun appeared, took Seung-Ho's other side. Together, they got him to the car. Taiwan was already driving before the doors closed, Min-ji in another vehicle with half the rescued prisoners, the rest scattering on foot. How bad? Zariah asked, hands shaking as she pressed against the wound. I've had worse, Seung-Ho said, then passed out. Hospital, Zariah told Taiwan. Too risky. They'll be watching hospitals. He met her eyes in the rearview mirror. Jae's son can handle it. Trust me. She didn't have a choice. She held pressure on the wound while Jae-sun worked, Maya crying quietly in the front seat. The whole world narrowed to the sound of Seung-Ho's breathing and the desperate hope that it wouldn't stop. They ended up at a safe house on the outskirts of Daegu, some kind of warehouse converted into a living space. Jae's son set up a makeshift operating area, pulled the bullet out with steady hands, while Zariah held Seung-Ho down and tried not to fall apart. He'll be okay, Jae's son said finally, bandaging the wound. Bullet missed everything important. He'll have a scar, but he collects those anyway. Seung-Ho woke up an hour later, groggy from blood loss and whatever painkiller Jae's son had pumped into him. His eyes found Zariah immediately. Maya? Safe, she's sleeping. In the next room. Zariah was sitting next to the bed. Hadn't moved since they'd gotten him stabilized. You scared the hell out of me. Sorry. His voice was rough. Seems like I'm making a habit of that. You could try not getting shot. Where's the fun in that? He tried to sit up, winced. How many did we get out? 18 confirmed, maybe more that ran on their own. She helped him adjust the pillows. You did good. We did good. His hand found hers. Is your sister okay? Physically, yeah. Emotionally, that's going to take time. Zariah's voice cracked. But she's here. She's alive. Because of you. Because of us. They sat in silence for a while, hands linked, both alive against odds that should have killed them. The Foundation is going to retaliate, Seung-Ho said eventually. This was a major hit. They'll come after us hard. Let them come. Zariah's voice was steel. We have evidence now. 18 witnesses. Names, faces, financial records. We can destroy them. It's going to be a war. Then we fight a war? She leaned closer. Together, like you said. His smile was tired but real. Yeah, together. The next few days were chaos. Seung-Ho's people moved them twice, always one step ahead of whoever was searching. Maya started talking slowly about what happened in the facility. The coding work they'd forced her to do, building systems for tracking and controlling people. The others are trapped there. The guards who were cruel and the ones who just looked away. Zariah fed every piece of information into her network, building a case that couldn't be ignored. She sent files to journalists she trusted, to international human rights organizations, to law enforcement agencies in 3 countries. The Foundation tried to bury it. They failed. Within a week, the story broke everywhere. Photos of the facility, testimony from survivors, and financial records showing money flowing from respected corporations into trafficking operations. Politicians scrambled to distance themselves. CEOs resigned. Arrests started happening. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. Seung-Ho healed faster than anyone expected, running his empire from safe houses and encrypted calls. He'd lost some businesses in the chaos, but others thrived. Turns out being the man who helped expose a trafficking ring bought a certain kind of respect. What now? Zariah asked one night, 3 weeks after the raid. They were in Seoul again, a different apartment, always moving. Maya was asleep in the next room, finally looking peaceful. Now we see what's left, Seung-Ho said. He was sitting by the window, looking out at the city lights. The foundation's broken, but not dead. We'll be looking over our shoulders for a while. That doesn't answer my question. He turned to look at her. What do you want the answer to be? Zariah crossed the room and stood in front of him. I want you to tell me if this was just adrenaline and proximity, or if it's real. It's real. No hesitation. Terrifying and complicated and probably a disaster waiting to happen, but real. I'm not easy to love, she warned. Good. I don't do anything easy. He pulled her down into his lap, careful of his healing shoulder. I'm a criminal, Zariah. That doesn't change just because I did one good thing. I'm a hacker who just helped start a war. I'm not exactly innocent either. So what are we? Partners. In crime and everything else. She kissed him, soft and sure. If you'll have me. If I'll, Zariah, I'd burn the rest of my empire down if it meant keeping you. His arms tightened around her. You and Maya. You're what I'm building toward now. No pressure then? His laugh rumbled through his chest. We'll figure it out. One day at a time, one crisis at a time. Sounds perfect. And maybe it wasn't a fairy tale ending. Maybe they'd spend the rest of their lives running, fighting, surviving. But they'd do it together. 2 broken people who found something whole in the wreckage. That was enough. Maya started therapy and started smiling again. Slowly. Zariah bought them an apartment under a fake name. Something small and safe. Seung-Ho visited when he could, careful and cautious, but present. 6 months later, Zariah woke up to find him in her kitchen making coffee. Like it was normal. Like he belonged there. You're here early? She said. Couldn't sleep. He handed her a cup, made exactly how she liked it. Had an idea. Dangerous words coming from you. What if we stopped running? He leaned against the counter. What if we built something legitimate, used your skills, my resources, created a company that actually helps people? Like what? Digital security for people escaping dangerous situations, resources for trafficking survivors, legal ways to do what we've been doing in the shadows. His eyes were bright with possibility. We could call it something hopeful. New, start, second chance. Zariah pretended to think about it. Would I get to be your partner? Equal shares? Equal say? I wouldn't have it any other way. Then yes. She set down her coffee and walked into his arms. Let's build something good. Outside, Seoul was waking up. Millions of people starting their days with ordinary problems and simple joys. Inside, two people who'd found each other in darkness were choosing light. Not perfect, not easy, but theirs. And honestly, that was the best revenge of all. Not just surviving, but living. Not just fighting monsters, but refusing to become one. Zariah Cole and Kang Seung-Ho, enemies by fate, allies by war, and maybe, just maybe, something like love by choice. The Foundation never stopped looking for them. They never stopped being dangerous. But together, they were more dangerous still. And that was exactly how they liked it.